What is up guys, it's Cal, and in this video I'm going to show you all of the Eternal Palace achievements and how to get them. So let's just get started, no time to waste. Some useful tips for this achievement guide. A third or possibly a fourth tank is useful for the first boss achievement, but it's not really required, and Druid aquatic forms are very useful for the Blackwater Behemoth achievement. Well, anyone who could swim underwater fast anyways. And that's it. No actual requirements for classes and whatnot for this. And also, you should do this entire raid on normal difficulty. That of course makes it much easier. Also, having someone in your group with the instance achievement tracker add-on is pretty much a necessity, so you can know when you've met the criteria for achievements. I'll mention this a bit more later, but for the Blackwater Behemoth fight, you probably want multiple people with that add-on. So let's get started. You and what army? The achievement for Savara. So before you start pulling the trash on your way to Savara, you want to mark 3 NPCs that need to stay alive and be a part of the encounter. There's Garval, the Vanquisher, a male Naga right in front of you that patrols around, Tide Shaper Corvez, a female Naga a little further down that patrols around, and Gorgesh the Smasher, who is to the right side, stationary as you enter the raid. So as I mentioned before, these 3 must be a part of the encounter and stay alive as you down Savara. Some things to note. If you do accidentally pull them as your raid makes their way to Savara, you can all just run out of the raid for them to reset. So try and bob and weave your way to Savara. Then when you get to her, if you're 3 tanking this fight, then have your 3rd tank grab all of them. If you're 4 tanking, then you can have 1 tank grab Corvus and Gorgesh, and the 4th tank grab Garval, and run them into the encounter before it starts. So the best way to do this is to pull them into Savara's arena and kill the ads that come with them. Don't AoE too much because of course you don't want to kill the big NPCs, but you want to get rid of the smaller ones. Gorgesh does Bellowing Roar, which must be interrupted every time it's cast because it will fear people, so the tank that has them needs to interrupt that every time it happens during the encounter. Other than that, as soon as all the small ads are dead, pull Savara and do the fight normally. Just keep those 3 ads to the side of the encounter. Other than Bellowing Roar, the other abilities by the ads can usually be ignored. Corvus does do a Soothing Current which heals an ally for 35% of their health, but that should be ignored completely because it can't target the boss. Also, Garval does put down a Rallying Banner. Range should switch to kill it so the tank damage isn't too high. One thing to make sure of, all 3 of those ads must be in the arena before Savara is engaged or the achievement can glitch. If you did what I said, then you shouldn't have a problem. Just don't pull the ads then the boss at the same time and expect to get the achievements even if the ads make their way into the arena before the door spawns, and most likely will glitch. So anyways, kill Savara with them all alive in the arena and you'll get your achievement. Intro to Marine Biology, Blackwater Behemoth's achievement. So before you engage the boss, you should look around and see abyssal clams or death skulkers or scavenging clams, or even vent feeder worms. You need to collect 50 of these and then defeat the boss to get the achievement. So prior to the fights, designate multiple people, preferably druids because they have aquatic form, to go after them during the fight. They're all over the place. They might be on the boss platform, they might be near the bottom of the cavern, they might be hiding under some rocks. You just have to scour the entire area for them. Now there is something to look out for. The people who go out and look for these fishies cannot get the bioluminescence buff, or this happens. Yeah, that's the green buff that you can get after you kill the pufferfish, meaning that these people can't be healed. So with that, druids who do this should swap to tank spec so the boss's toxic spine ability won't target them. So there's that. And then how do you know your group has collected 50? Well, if you have Instance Achievement Tracker, it will tell you, but it will only record it from other people who have the add-on as well. Therefore, the best way to be 100% sure you get this is for all your druids or people who are going after these fishies to also have that add-on. That's just the only way it can accurately tell how many you've collected or how many your group has collected. Don't ask me specifics, I'm just telling you what the add-on says. So you pick up the fish, clam, or whatever just by clicking on it, and now ours froze at like 42 for some reason, so try to have some verbal communication as well. Pick up like 55 to 60 just to be safe. After you feel like you've gathered enough, kill the boss, then the achievement will pop. Fun run. Radiance of Ashar's achievement. So this is a personal achievement and probably one of the more difficult ones in this raid. Since it's a personal achievement, if you die, you won't get the achievement. So to get this achievement, you need to run around Radiance of Ashara 6 times and then kill it. Now once you run around it 3 times, you'll get a fun run debuff that looks like a blue sprint. That signifies you're halfway there. Then the checker flag will appear after 6 times, and that means you've ran the full distance. So this achievement is apparently pretty buggy, meaning there's apparently some abilities that can cancel the fun run ticker on you and reset the laps. Just looking at Wowhead comments, it says Mage Blinks, Warlock Portals, and Demon Hunter Fell Rushes may cancel the buff. Someone feel free to confirm that in the comments below, but I can tell you as a hunter, Aspect of the Cheetah and Disengage are fine to use, even if you have post haste. Just make sure you disengage in the right direction. Now some things to look out for. The tornadoes that spawn, if they knock you in the opposite direction, they can cancel the buff. Also touching the water or getting knocked in the water will definitely cancel the buff as well. So with that being said, there's an ad that spawns in the intermission phase. He will cast Gale Buffet, which will knock everyone back and may knock you in the water. If the Stormwraith ad spawns near one of the doors of the boss's room, everyone should put their backs to that door before it goes off so you don't get knocked in the water. If the ad doesn't spawn by the door, then put your back towards the direction of where you're supposed to be running towards so you don't get flown in the water and get knocked back in that direction. If the ad pushes you in the opposite direction, then it can reset your buff. Heroism or Bloodlust should be used here to kill the Stormwraith ad as fast as possible. And healers should also make sure they dispel the bomb thing that random people get so it doesn't stun people. So everyone running in the same direction is probably helpful for your healers. Now if you die, you will of course lose the buff. If you do get rezzed, then you do have to run around the boss 6 times again for your buff. Instance Achievement Tracker will tell you who in your group has the buff and who doesn't. So you can keep that in mind on whether or not you want to kill the boss now or not. So you have to kill the boss while you have the debuff for you to get the achievement. Simple Geometry, Lady Ashvane's achievement. So this one, you want to have a lot of DPS to make it as simple as possible. You need to have every Arcing Azerite beam go through the boss, then kill her for the achievement. So we ended up tanking her in the middle. Mostly you tank her and kite her around the side, but we found the middle to be easier. So towards the start of the fight, there's coral that spawns. If you've ever done this boss before, you know what this coral is for and how to get rid of it. Well, completely forget about all that. We kept the coral up the entire fight and just powered through it. Just make sure people are soaking the bubbles that come out of them. Now when phase 2 happens, 3 pairs of people, so 6 people total, will get the Arcing Azerite on them. You need to find who your partner is and make sure you're on the opposite side of the boss from your partner so the Arcing Azerite goes through the boss. Now the first Arcing Azerite, this is pretty easy, but the second Arcing Azerite, Upsurge overlaps with it. Now if an Arcing Azerite person gets knocked in the air, then the achievement will fail because it just won't hit the boss. It'll go in like a diagonal motion above the boss. So they need to make sure they run forwards or go backwards to get out of the Upsurge. Going sideways may possibly make the Azerite beam not go through the boss, just keep that in mind. Also, you shouldn't worry about the crap on the ground that the boss puts. If you have to run through it to make sure your beam goes through the boss, then do it. It really doesn't do much damage. So down the boss while having all the Azerite beams go through Lady Ashvane for your achievement. A Smack of Jellyfish, Orgozoa's achievement. This one's pretty easy compared to the last few. You need to down Orgozoa while someone in your group catches a baby Zoetroid. So before the fight starts, designate someone in your group to catch the Zoetroid. This is someone who won't be able to use any abilities through the second phase of the fight. We had one of our Resto Druids do it. So you want to do phase 1 the same as normal. Dodge the dribbling Ichor. Tank needs to bring the Zoetroids away from the boss, kill them all at the same time. A tank needs to soak the things on the ground, you know, like normal. Now the boss transitions at 40% health, so at about 42-ish% health, the person who's grabbing the Zoetroid needs to stand by the door that goes down to the phase 2 area because the Zoetroid does come down pretty fast. This is me missing it. So that person needs to stand right under where it falls. It will fall on you and you'll catch it. So this person cannot use any abilities or the egg will break. They also can't be hit by any of the random stuff going down to the second phase platform or the egg will break. So they do need to get to the bottom before Massive Incubator is finished casting or they will die. Then they should stay off to the side and dodge the dribbling Ichor as the raid downs Orgozoa and you'll get your achievement. If it pleases the court, the Queen's Court achievement. So this is a personal achievement and probably the easiest achievement in the raid. During the encounter, Queen Ashara, who's located above the boss arena, will do a decree. She does form ranks, repeat performance, stand alone, deferred sentence, and obey or suffer in that order. The order never changes. It's always in that order. You need to select Queen Ashara and do a specific emote on her while that decree is active to get the achievement. You need to do it with all 5 decrees and you'll be good to kill her. So to go into specifics, before the fight starts, I'd recommend everyone in your raid to make these macros that are shown on the screen. They'll also be in the description so you can copy and paste them. During form ranks, you have to salute Queen Ashara. During repeat performance, you need to curtsy her. During stand alone, you need to applaud her. During deferred sentence, you need to grovel at her, and then during obey or suffer, you need to kneel at her. Now, one thing to mention about curtsy. It can glitch if you're moving while you curtsy her, so try to stand still and do it, and make sure you see in the chat that you curtsied her, then you're good. The macros will select her, do that specific emote, then immediately target whichever boss you were targeting. Now, once you do all those, you'll get the Queen's Favor debuff, meaning you're good to kill the boss to get the achievement. So hopefully, everyone has the Queen's Favor debuff at the same time if everyone does it right. Now after Obey or Suffer, she goes right back to form ranks. You don't have to do any emotes to her at that point. You're good once Obey or Suffer happens and you'll get your Queen's Favor debuff. Now since it is a personal achievement, if you die, you will lose your progress on the achievement. So I don't know, if your group is nice enough, then maybe they can go through the entire cycle again so you can get your Queen's Favor debuff. But at that point, you're probably better off just wiping. But that's all there is to it. If you have the Queen's Favor debuff and you finish the Queen's Court fight, you will get your achievement. Lactate Intolerance, Zakul's achievement. So this achievement does require good DPS. Big DPS, AoE DPS to be more specific. Now there are these 6 runes around the room that should be marked prior to the fight so everyone is able to see them. 1 by where you start, then 5 around where the boss starts. The runes light up once a manic dread is dispelled on them. So with that being said, start the fight and do it normally. However your group normally does it because the achievement won't come into play until the boss reaches 50% health, which is phase 4. So when the boss gets to phase 4, everyone needs to pick a rune to stand on and the boss should be tanked on one of them so the melee can get on one of the runes easy. Once manic dread goes out on 3 random people, they need to immediately be dispelled because the people will get feared. The runes will light up once they're dispelled on. Now as soon as the last manic dread happens, which empowers the last rune, everyone needs to immediately run to the center of the arena, a portal will spawn and everyone needs to click their extra action button to go to the magical cow level that doesn't actually exist. Now in this cow area, there are 10 neutral twinkle hoof ads that spawn that need to all die ASAP. They all might be kind of difficult to target, so making a /tar space twinkle hoof macro prior to the fight might be helpful. AoE your hearts out, stand in the middle, Gorfiend's grasp them all together, do the Demon Hunter Gorfiend's grasp thing to stack them. Heroism or Bloodlust here, you just need to be able to kill them all within like 30 seconds time frame. But when you manage to kill them all, focus the boss, then you'll get your achievements once the boss dies. Now for the best of us. Ashar's achievement. This achievement isn't too terrible, you just need to kill Queen Ashara with 1 person alive and that person has to have the Essence of Azeroth buff. So you won't have to worry about the achievement till the final phase. So just do the boss like you normally do, kill the 2 ads at the start, follow the decrees and make sure all the wards do get powered up during the fight. So once you get into the final phase, the console needs to be controlled like normal. This is where someone will walk up to it, press their extra action button in a staggered fashion so the console doesn't explode and wipe the raid. Now one of the buffs that this console will give someone random is the Essence of Azeroth. It's a 40-second buff that increases your haste by a lot, but after the 40 seconds the person with it dies. So how to get this achievement exactly is once you get to the final phase where the console needs to be controlled, your group should DPS Queen Ashara down up to about 1,000,000 health, and the dots will most likely take her down a little further. Maybe a little over 500k-ish. Then you want everyone besides your 2 tanks and 1 healer to go and stand on any of the wards to power them up. This will repeatedly drop these players' health pools because that's what standing on the wards does until they have 10 stacks, which means they will literally have a max health of 1. Then stand in any of the ground AoE to instantly die. So the only people who should be alive at this point are your 2 tanks and a healer. Now your healer should control the console by clicking the extra action button on it. They should click the button until one of the tanks gets the Essence of Azeroth Azeroth buff. Once that happens, the healer and the tank without the powerful buff should go stand on wards to die. So the only person alive is the tank with the Essence of Azeroth buff, and then they should just finish off the boss and you win. You get your achievement. So there you have it. That's all of the Eternal Palace achievements. Getting all these achievements will award you with the Ashari Blow Tray mount. And by the way, all these achievements except the 2 personal ones can be acquired if a player dies. The dead player will still get the achievement. Remember, all except the 2 personal ones I mentioned. So there you have it. If you found this video helpful at all, then feel free to leave a like on it. You can sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.